Hello everyone, guten Tag, welcome to Learning German with Luga Learning Solutions. My name is Kendi and I will be your German teacher for the day. So we're still trying to figure out German phonetics. And today we are going to figure out how to pronounce S in German. And it's very important that we talk about S on its own because as you're going to see, it's multifaceted. So instead of you just getting yourself into this pool of trying to speak German and you're getting mini shocks and mini heart attacks every single time you encounter S being pronounced in a different way, let's just get ahead of that, let's just get ahead of that and learn how to pronounce S. And so S is pronounced in 3 different ways. Okay, we're going to talk about the general rules in pronouncing S, and these are 3. The first one is when S is followed by a consonant. When S is followed by a consonant, remember, consonant is everything that is not a vowel. The vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and the 3 special vowels in German. If S is followed by anything that is not a vowel, which is basically anything that is a consonant, then we pronounce it as sh. Okay? Zum Beispiel, we have spielen, okay? Spielen, stehen, spielen, stehen. Beispiel, the word itself, Beispiel, and then Schief, and so on. So let me just add Beispiel. Bleistift. We add Bleistift. Okay? In S is followed by a consonant, then we pronounce it as sh. Okay. Number 2, the second scenario is when S is followed by a vowel. When S is followed by a vowel, then we pronounce it as Z. Not the German Z, because German Z, as we're going to see, or if you have watched the video on it, is something else. But I'm saying sound Z, not letter Z, but sound Z. That is how we pronounce S when it's followed by a vowel. Zum Beispiel, we have sagen. Yeah, we're saying sagen. I hope you're repeating after me. Sagen, sehen, suchen, and so on. When S is followed by a vowel, then pronounce it as Z. Okay? So rule number 1 was when S is followed by a consonant. And we said that in such a case, it's pronounced as sh. Then now we're saying that when S is followed by a vowel, then we pronounce it as Z. And then finally, when S sorry, not when S is followed by anything, but when we have a double S. When it is double S, or the asset. Do you remember the asset? If you have watched our video on the special characters in German, if you haven't, you should go and watch the special characters in German so that you understand what the asset is. But there I mentioned that when you see the asset, it represents double S. So basically what we're saying is that when it is double S or when it is the asset, then we pronounce it as S. For example, zum Beispiel, we have heißen. Heißen, of course, it should be written. It can be written with with an S-set, or it can be written using a double S, whichever way is okay. Heißen, lassen, gießen, and so on. Okay, so when it is double S, or when it is an S-set, which basically represents a double S, then that is the only way that we get, the only time that we get to pronounce S in the same way that we're used to pronouncing it in English. Okay, are we together so far? I hope we're together so far. We have said that S is pronounced in 3 different ways. The first way is when S is followed by a consonant, then we pronounce it as sh, okay? Zum Beispiel, spielen, stehen, Beispiel, Bleistift. Okay? That's number 1, rule number 1. Okay. Then now, rule number 2 is that when S is followed by a vowel, when S is followed by a vowel, then we pronounce it as Z. Zum Beispiel sagen, sehen, suchen. Okay? And the third situation, which is the only time when we get to pronounce S as S, the way we're used to pronouncing it in English, is if it is a double S or an S-set. And remember, of course, we said S-set is a special character in German that represents double S. In such case, then we pronounce it as S. And let me just write here for the sake of you being able to take accurate notes. Then we pronounce it as S. Zum Beispiel heißen, lassen, gießen. Okay? Then, of course, it said that every general rule has an exception. The exception here, and please note very careful, take very careful note of this exception, is that when S, this is basically when S appears followed by T at the end of verbs. At the end of verbs for purposes of conjugation, and we are going to see what conjugation is and all of these things. But what basically I'm saying is that when ST is at the end of the verb because of conjugation, and this is in situations like Beispiel, I'm just going to write quietly fast because I've not yet told you the pronunciation so that you're able to read together with me. When ST is at the end of the verbs for purposes of conjugation, remember, we're talking of it as an exception because remember T is a consonant. So if it was to follow the general rule here, we would be saying komst and lacht and kocht and isht, right? But we are saying that as an exception to that rule, when ST is at the end of verbs for purposes of conjugation, then we pronounce it as S. So this is also one of the other situations in which we pronounce letter S as S. So this is komst, lachst, kochst, and ist. Okay? I really hope that you have understood that exception. Okay? As a general rule, this would have been sh because it's followed by a consonant. But we are saying that as an exception, if you find ST at the end of the verb, which is as a result of conjugation of that verb, then we pronounce it as S. I really, really hope that you have understood how to pronounce S, because it's a very rampant letter in the German language, and also it's a very dynamic letter, as you have seen this. And I hope this is helpful. Keep coming back here, keep practicing. Practice is all I can tell you. Thank you so much for joining and coming up to the end. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, the thing that it looks like a bell there, so that you're able to get a notification every time that we upload a video, so that you can keep in touch with your German lessons. Okay, that's all for today. Bye bye. Tschüss. Bis dann.